5 foods
5 foods.
you'd never put into your body.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's a good one. So I tend to think that one of the things in macrobiotics is that when you're macrobiotic for 7 years, you are so strong, you could eat poisonous blowfish and it wouldn't harm you. So there are some foods I will never put into my body. I don't consume anything out of plastic. The main thing being water out of plastic. I would just rather like dehydrate and fall over on the ground than drink water out of a plastic bottle. Just don't do it. You can taste it. You can taste the literal plastic in it. Just cut that out of your life. Never microwave or cook food in plastic. Avoid that stuff like the plague. Other foods I wouldn't put in me. Just really heavily processed foods, like you can they almost taste like plastic when you're eating them, right? Just try and eat real food is the simplest thing as far as I'm concerned.
Okay, I'll actually kind of not even include processed foods as
Okay,
a
just cut it
qualification
out.
for this.
Yeah.
Because I'm not counting sodas or chips or anything like that.
Yeah.
But let's just talk about real food.
Water out. Oh, which real foods to not eat? I think you can eat any real food.
As long as it's not coming out of a packet.
Yeah. And in moderation, Gotcha. I think there's I'm working on a book about thresholds. It's kind of geeky. And it's based a lot on this idea that quantity affects quality. And the amount of something affects the quality of the thing. So again, you should be able to eat anything, but it's just kind of the quantity of it, right? So I don't think you should eat too much meat. It's essentially rotting inside you and it's not moving, right? So you've got all this like rotting flesh inside your gut, right? So I'm not a big fan of eating too much meat.
Gotcha.
I think a lot of times people they think they got to eat meat 3 times a day or they're going to die or something like that. I actually don't think it's good. And a lot of, you got to eat super clean meat. That's the other thing. I won't eat garbage meat. Okay. I'd rather not eat.
How much protein do you end up eating every day?
Not much.
Really?
Yeah.
And you look like this?
Yeah.
How much protein do you end up having?
Honestly, maybe 50 to 100 grams.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
But again, most of the protein that your body is using is not from the protein that you're eating. It's from the protein that's already in you. Your body's constantly reusing these things, right? So
you're talking post-follistatin, right?
No, even pre-follistatin.
Even pre-follistatin.
Yeah. I was more jacked pre-follistatin, when I was younger. I'll send you some pics, but even then I wasn't I don't eat protein powders.
Gotcha.
Don't eat protein powders. No.
How come?
It's not food.
Okay. You want to expand on this thought a little?
I mean, sure. So, scurvy, right? They thought scurvy had to do with vitamin C. Because, these sailors would go across the ocean, they're all dying, and then they realize that, if you just put some lemons on the boat, because they'll kind of last for a month or so, and if you have some lemon, all of a sudden you don't have scurvy. It's not the vitamin C. You can't live without fresh food. So the challenge in going to Mars and living on Mars, it's fresh food. Humans cannot live on powders and things out of boxes and cans. You can't. You need fresh food. And you could avoid scurvy by eating grass. We don't even, I think in Ayurveda, they call it what? Prana or...
So there's 3 categories of food: Sattvic, Tamasic, and Rajasic. Sattvic is like your macrobiotic diet, like very pure, very raw, food that's light on the system. Rajasic is food that's exciting for the system, so like spice, sugar would also, I think, be Rajasic. And tamasic is food that's heavy and makes you lazy. So meat is in tamasic. Old food is in tamasic.
Okay.
So they don't talk about completely avoiding tamasic food. They talk about a balance, and they talk about a subjective balance.
Okay.
So everyone has a different requirement.
But isn't there this concept of just like the life force in food? So the moment you pick the food, it starts losing its life force.
Sattvic food has the highest life force.
Okay.
And what's also said is if you cook a meal freshly, it has more life force.
Right.
And if you keep it in your fridge overnight, it goes from being it could be a sattvic food item, which could become tamasic the next day.
Yeah.
Because the life force goes away.
I don't food prep. I think that's crazy. I made like a week's worth of food on Sunday, and I'm eating it 5 days later. There's no life force in it anymore. There's no life for it to give you. So I don't do any protein powders. I think you could probably supplement yourself with them, but it's like, are you literally, unless you're like a competitive bodybuilder, I don't know what you're doing. Like that's just, there's no food there. It's got too much surface area. It's oxidized. It's falling apart. So I don't eat protein powders. Don't eat too much meat. No water out of plastic.
No food that's heated.
I don't eat protein bars. I don't eat protein bars. I don't think that's food either.
Right. And also processed.
Yeah.
What about like chilies?
Like peppers.
Yeah, peppers.
Things like that. I love hot food. I absolutely love hot food. I actually think a little bit of it is probably a good hormetic stressor. It gets some of the enzymes going, some of the digestive enzymes to help you digest your food.
Would you eat offal? You know what offal is?
Yeah.
You okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like kidney and liver and stuff. Yeah, that stuff I think is super healthy.
Okay.
Yeah. If a lion goes and kills an antelope, right? And it's not starving. Say the lion's not starving, right? It's just typical hungry level. What does it eat in the antelope? Not the muscle. It eats the organs. And it leaves the muscle for the hyenas to come eat.
Really?
Because there's not much nutrients in it. Now, if the lion is starving to death, it's going to eat the whole thing and it's not going to leave anything for the hyenas, right? But in its normal course of affairs, animals that are carnivores, they kill their prey, they eat the organs, and they leave the rest of it for the scavengers.
Damn. Didn't know this.
Yeah.
Wow. And we as human beings
do the other way around.
We choose to eat the muscles.
Yeah.
Have you heard that theory about how the ancient man was actually a scavenger?
Yeah.
And he weren't at the top of the food chain.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. Sounds about right.
Yeah. Anyway, this is a conversation that will never end if we wish for it to never end.
And hopefully we'll live forever and keep having it. Yeah.
Hey, if you enjoyed this clip from The Ranveer Show, we've uploaded a ton of other clips related to a ton of other topics. So explore the channel because there's something for everyone.